I love the used to be. So last week got made redundant, Mothercare's gone into administration. So it's all great. Loving life. Last 4 companies I've gone into, I've been asked to work on performance reviews and how we manage performance reviews within the HR space. And it's really interesting when you look at the world and what's going on within the workplace demographic of how that impacts how performance reviews are taking place in the business. Did a little bit of research for today, just looking at numbers in London around where our demographic sits currently within the workplace. So you can see that we've got the biggest majority around the 35 to 49-year-old people working in our business. However, when you look at the projections of where that's going to go over the next few years, you'll see that it's our Gen Y, our millennials, that are going to be the biggest influencer within the workplace. And how does that impact performance reviews and what we offer? Just going to look really quickly at each of the demographics and what motivates them to come to work. A lot of the speakers today have spoken about how things are changing in the workplace, how holiday is impacting what people want from their holiday. And actually, this is all down to the generations that we have working with us and what motivates them. So if we look at our baby boomers, you'll see on there the things that are important to them when they come to work. They're motivators, team-orientated, person-to-person communication. How many times a day do we have a Skype call? Do we have a Zoom call? It's not person-to-person. You look at your Gen X's, they need security. They want to feel really valued where they work. They're really motivated by family-based benefits, unlimited holiday, amazing. They want lifestyle benefits. They ask for feedback, but only when they need it. How many people here are managers and actually that becomes really draining? You're constantly asking for feedback. I've got nothing else to give you right now. You need to actually do something with the feedback I gave you last time. Millennials, it's that term, millennials, Gen Y, whichever you want to call it. They want that work-life balance. I'm leaving at 3 because I've got a gym class I want to get to tonight. I've got to do a pick-up with the kids. They're motivated by money. We were talking earlier about throw them an extra 10 grand and they'll stay. Really? They'll stay, but what are they staying for? The point was made already today. They want opportunities to learn, and they want an enjoyable workplace environment, culture. It's culture that's key. Then we look at our Gen Zs. They want that fun working environment. They want flexible schedules. They'll decide when they work and how they're going to work. They want respect. You're 19. How does that work? They want out-of-work socialisation. So now we're taking that flexible workspace outside of work. Go back to our baby boomers, they want to go home. How's that building a team dynamic? We've got one half of the team that wants to go out for drinks on a Friday night, and we've got the other half going, I've got to get home to the wife, I'm going to get killed if I'm not home by dinner tonight. It's these generation factors that are really impacting how we manage our people and our processes that we have within the HR world. They want experience days. 15 years ago when I was in HR, it's all the red letter day experiences that you won at like Christmas conference. It's like it's coming back round full circle. How often do we stop and think about what we're implementing and how that impacts the people we're implementing it to? Or do we impact and deliver based on what we've always done? When we think about the workplace, highly recommend this book. I didn't write it. 9 Lies About Work. The reason I bring this up and linking it to performance reviews and our demographic, there is a lot of things that I think we always do because we've always done it. Performance reviews for me is one of those annual cycles that we always do. At the start of the year, we set objectives, then we go into mid-year, then we go to end of year. It may or may not be linked to performance-related pay, but there's always a performance cycle. 9 Lies About Work was the first book I actually read that made me really challenge that. And I'm going to talk about 2 of the lies today because they're linked to performance. One is people need feedback. It's true, people do need feedback. But actually what it is that they need is the attention, not necessarily the feedback. So studies have shown that feedback, whether it's positive or negative, has a 30% increase in productivity. Why? Because you've got their attention. Children are naughty, so they get your attention. Our behaviour doesn't change as we get older. We just adapt to being naughty in a different way. And 6, people can reliably rate other people. The last 4 businesses I've gone into, I've sat down, we've done the TNA piece, and it fundamentally shows that we've got a challenge with our management capability. Our managers have been over-promoted, our managers have not got the people management experience. They're great at what they do, they just can't manage people. Full stop. Meeting following day. We're doing performance reviews. We need our managers to rate their team. And these are the same managers that yesterday told me had no capability. How does that work? And as an individual, how does that make you feel? Your performance is being rated by a manager that isn't necessarily a great manager. Makes you stop and think. How about I rate myself? How about my peers rate me? How about the project groups I work in or the stakeholders I work with rate my performance? And it's not solely based on what my manager thinks. Taking those 2 things, there's chapters and chapters upon it in the book, really makes you stop and think about the performance cycle and actually how that's implemented in the workplace. So with a changing demographic, and a demographic that we know is continuing to change, how do we, as HR professionals, adapt to that and change our thinking and our practices around performance reviews? There are very traditional approaches to performance reviews, which you can see on the screen. What I want to look at today is more the modern performance appraisal methods. And you will probably all be doing these in some way, shape or form. But actually, if we invested in it 100%, how much different would it be? Management by objectives. I'm sure we've all got a set of objectives. I'm sure we get them reviewed, and I'm sure there's a scale of which we own those and have to feed back on them. 360 feedback is one of those things that we always talk about, but actually how many companies fully embrace 360 feedback? Taking away my manager rating me and actually getting feedback from the people I work with and the projects I deliver on. Assessment centre methodology, I'm not a fan. It's based on German war times and how they given them projects and watching them perform in that social arena. It's not something I support. Behaviourally anchored rating scales. Again, we've probably got this in some way, shape or form, linked with our objectives. How do you perform doing X, Y or Z? 1 to 5. How closely are you to our values? 1 to 5. And you have to justify your score against that. And then our psychological appraisals. That's a little bit free thinking for me, bringing in psychologists to manage our staff and give us feedback on them. Feels a little bit like an award that I might not get out of unless I have my jacket undone. But for me, it's just a space that you can stop and think about how we manage our performance and how do we rate our team's performance.